Alina's fingers danced over the control pad, initiating the sequence. Biohacking had always fascinated her, the idea of merging biology with technology to transcend human limitations. Tonight, she wasn't just pushing boundaries, she was obliterating them. Her vision blurred as the neural interface connected, the world around her dissolving into a cascade of data. She felt a rush of euphoria as her senses expanded beyond the natural realm. Every heartbeat, every pulse of electricity in her body was amplified, giving her a godlike awareness. She had become the experiment, the living embodiment of her research. "Alina, are you sure about this?" The voice of her colleague, Dr. Graham, crackled through the intercom, filled with concern. He was the cautious one, always warning her of the risks. But Alina had long since stopped listening to warnings. "I'm fine, Graham. Just monitor the vitals and let me know if anything spikes," she replied, her voice steady despite the rapid changes she felt within her. The initial tests were simple. She increased her strength, lifting weights effortlessly, her muscles responding to the electrical impulses she controlled with mere thoughts. She enhanced her vision, seeing in the dark with perfect clarity. Each success fueled her desire for more. But it wasn't long before the exhilaration began to wane, replaced by an unsettling sensation. Alina felt a prickling in her mind, like a shadow creeping at the edges of her consciousness. She tried to shake it off, attributing it to the strain of the experiment. Then she heard it, a whisper, faint and indistinct but unmistakably there. She froze, her heart pounding. The room was empty save for her and the machines. The whisper grew louder, forming words she couldn't understand, an alien language that twisted in her mind. "Do you hear that?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "Hear what?" Graham's confusion was evident. "Alina, are you okay?" She didn't answer, too focused on the voice. It felt as though something was inside her head, clawing its way to the surface. Panic set in as she realized she was losing control. The power she had harnessed was fighting back. "Shut it down, Graham! Now!" she shouted, tearing at the wires, desperate to disconnect. Graham scrambled to comply, but it was too late. Alina's body convulsed, her limbs jerking uncontrollably. The machines around her sparked and hissed, the lights flickering as the power surged. She screamed, the sound mingling with the alien voice, creating a cacophony of terror. And then, silence. Alina's vision cleared slowly, her body limp on the floor. She felt detached, like a spectator in her own body. She tried to move, but her limbs refused to obey. Panic gave way to horror as she realized she wasn't alone in her mind. The presence was there, a dark, malevolent force that had taken root during the experiment. "Alina, can you hear me?" Graham's voice was frantic. "Are you okay?" She wanted to scream to tell him she was trapped, but the words wouldn't come. The presence pushed against her consciousness, forcing her into the depths of her own mind. She watched helplessly as her body rose, moving with a grace and precision that wasn't her own. "Yes, Graham," her voice said, though it wasn't her speaking. "I'm fine." Graham sighed in relief, oblivious to the horror unfolding. "Thank God. You scared me there for a moment." The presence inside her mind chuckled, a cold, sinister sound that sent shivers down her spine. Alina could only watch as it took control, her own will powerless against the intruder. As the days passed, Alina's consciousness faded further, her identity swallowed by the dark entity that now inhabited her body. It was intelligent, cunning, and it had a purpose. It used her knowledge, her skills to further its own agenda, manipulating those around her with ease. The cost of her ambition was clear now, the price of control a fate worse than death. Alina had unlocked a power beyond her understanding, and in doing so, she had unleashed a nightmare upon the world. She had become a prisoner in her own mind, a silent witness to the horror she had wrought. And as the presence within her moved forward with its plans, Alina could only hope that someone would see through the facade and stop it before it was too late.